Do you ever wonder if this is all just a dream? I mean, I have. I think about it all the time. I wonder what else could explain how much my life has changed. I've changed. Not because anything happened in particular, but because I'm observing everything from a new perspective. As if all my memories, the whole of my life, are just gliding along, stuck in the storyline of a strange movie. One that I've seen before, yet I can't quite place where it's from or remember how I felt about the ending. Every minute detail, every sensation, becomes simultaneously insignificant yet wrought with symbolism, all at the same time. Some of my least favorite scenes I can look back on and appreciate in a whole new way, while others I'd almost forgotten about completely keep me up at night. I never talk about these things, and to be honest, I really don't know why. Maybe I stay quiet for fear of sounding crazy. Maybe it's because I'm scared of letting myself be vulnerable, of giving the world another reason to disappoint me. But if I'm being honest, I think it's because I've realized I don't know myself at all. And this is what really scares me. Yet, I wonder if anyone out there feels the same way. And if maybe I'm not as alone as I feel. Honestly, I haven't found myself yet, and I'll probably be on the search forever. I've come to understand that the closer we come to knowing ourselves, the more we realize how much further we actually need to go. I'm sure I'll sound crazy to most people, but I just don't care anymore. Because when your dreams at night feel more real, more tangible, and closer to your soul than your waking reality, you just start questioning things. And these are the questions that shape my life today. And through art, through music, I'm just searching for the answers. I'm trying to live my truth. Okay, so if I'm being completely honest and candid right now, I am one of the shyest and most socially awkward people, but in kind of a quirky way, I'd like to hope. I've never tried anything like this before. I've never been like a quote unquote vlogger. I've never even filmed myself in public before today, so this is going to be really interesting, and this is already going to be kind of an emotional video for me anyway. God, why did I pick this as the first vlog? I'm crazy. Anyway, so we're going to go to Bok Tower Gardens today, which is an absolutely beautiful location. I have some things that I really want to get off my chest. More than anything, I need a healing day. I need to go and submerge myself in nature, do some art, do some writing, and just purge emotionally. You might see me cry today. You might see me get really dopey sentimental over squirrels. Who knows? It's just gonna be me, my camera, my sketchbook, and you guys that are along for this ride with me. So let's get started. I spent a really beautiful part of my childhood here. I got married here. My wedding was the last time that we had my entire family together with her. My Nana and I were very close, and I took her death very hard. I can feel my past encapsulated in this place. Everywhere I turn takes me back to my childhood, to my family, from my happiest moments to some of my hardest lessons. And just like all of the happy stories we've witnessed come full circle in this beautiful place, I can't help but feel overwhelmed with both nostalgia and heartache as I navigate my piece of paradise under much different circumstances. I made a promise to myself a long time ago to always be honest with everything that I create, be it my art, the music I write, but especially this channel. I filmed this vlog back in November of 2019, and it's difficult for me to put this out into the world even now. I am far from perfect. I struggle through the ups and downs of life just like everyone, and I will always continue to work on myself. So really, I guess this video is about me inviting you into my life, to begin to see where I'm coming from, the pain and the beauty that inspire me constantly, the things that influence the person I aspire to be, and the spiritual connections that feed my soul, those invisible forces that keep me moving forward. So, if I'm being completely honest, starting a YouTube channel is very intimidating to me. This channel is probably one of the scariest things I've ever done. I also think that it's going to be one of the most rewarding things that I could be working on right now. If I could just go back in time and talk to my younger self, even from just 2 years ago, she wouldn't be able to fathom the amount of transformation about to take place in her life. Back then, I was having a silent internal breakdown. Although I was skilled at hiding it, most days I just wanted to rip my life into a million pieces and start over because I was filled with so much sadness and disappointment in my life. Really in myself. But on the surface, things weren't all that bad. I had a loving marriage and a reliable source of income with a routine I didn't completely hate, when in reality I was trapped. All the while burying my creativity, my potential, deeper and deeper inside myself, as if I wanted it gone for good. And I was treating myself like I didn't really matter. Because the truth is, I was working a full-time retail job that could barely pay my bills. And although I felt deep down that I was meant to do so much more with my life, I had convinced myself that I was lucky to at least have a job that was moderately enjoyable and that I was pretty good at. I was working in an art store, so even though I wasn't pursuing my own creativity, I was enjoying that of others. And so I settled. For a long time. And most of my days were fine, but other days were just so soul-sucking. Then eventually, after a particularly bad day at work, I sat in my car sobbing uncontrollably. I remember begging for help into the ether, pleading to God, to the universe, to whoever was listening to please not let this be the rest of my life. No matter how many days would go by being good or just okay. Well, unbeknownst to me, my life would forever be changed. You see, the universe listened that night, and soon my entire world would be ripped wide open. At the time, I didn't know anything about spirituality. I believed in God or a higher power of some kind, but I was skeptical and guarded from non-physical phenomena. Yet soon, a series of bizarre and unexplainable and often terrifying events began invading all aspects of my life. Although I had no idea what was happening to me at the time, I realize now I'd been catapulted into a spiritual awakening. The details surrounding this period of my life are incredibly intense and honestly outside the scope of this video, so I'll save that part of my story for another time. But in the midst of it all, I had no idea what was happening to me or why. I felt as if my body had turned against me, and I felt utterly tortured, physically, mentally, emotionally. What's worse is I felt completely alone. I was hesitant to talk about my experiences out of fear of being misunderstood or taken out of context. Heck, I didn't even know how to put these experiences into words myself. But soon I almost wouldn't need to, because about 3 months into my personal nightmare, as I considered it, my Nana had an accident that would land her in a months-long fight for her life. My Nana was one of the strongest people I've ever met. She was born in 1931, in the midst of the Great Depression. She never had much growing up, but she did have an abundant sense of gratitude for every little blessing she had. It's like she always knew how to make things work, to get her hands dirty, and to work hard for her family and for herself. She loved nature and everything about it. She had an adventurous spirit and was born with an unwavering fire to run wild and free. But soon after giving birth to my mom, at just 26 years of age, she contracted polio. She ultimately beat the disease, just short of needing to be put into an iron lung, which at the time was a pretty grave prognosis. But through incredible strength and perseverance, her health improved greatly. She was able to ride horses again and go on wild adventures, to chase after her 2 kids and raise a beautiful family. She loved to sing and play the piano and celebrate life in every way. I was an only child, lucky enough to be raised by a single mom and 2 amazing grandparents. Before I was old enough to start school, my Nana would take me on all kinds of fun adventures. She taught me to ride horses and to play the piano, and instilled in me a sincere appreciation for plants, animals, and the entire natural world. Needless to say, we were incredibly close, and one of our favorite places to run off to together was here at Bok Tower. As my Nana grew older, we discovered polio wasn't quite done with her, and she began exhibiting signs of post-polio syndrome, a terrible after effect of the disease that would continue to ravage her body, to shrink her muscles, and continuously strip away her mobility and her independence. Even so, she continued to live her life to the fullest, refusing to let anything hold her down. My Nana was a pillar of strength in my life. For over 20 years, she battled post-polio along with an onslaught of other medical complications that would arise as a result of her doctor's attempts to treat her disease symptoms. But she never let it get her down. Throughout my life, I watched her go from hiking up trails with us in the Smoky Mountains to needing a cane to go about her day, and then from a cane to walker to a motorized scooter, but never a wheelchair. She was incredibly stubborn about that. In fact, she still insisted on driving herself places, even though she needed to use the scooter when she got there. She had several close calls with her health over the years, and so often her doctors would be shocked by her ability to bounce back. I mean, most people her age and at her level of disability weren't able to overcome the challenges that she faced. But that was my Nana, always strong and always stubborn, always determined to live her best life. But this time it was different, because this time she fell. breaking her leg in 4 places. My Nana also suffered from medically induced diabetes due to medication she'd taken over the years for her post-polio syndrome. When we got her to the hospital, we were told she would need surgery to repair her leg, but her white blood cell count was too low to operate. They knew if they took her into surgery, then her body wouldn't be able to stop from bleeding. So for 3 days, my 87-year-old grandmother lay in a hospital bed, unable to move and in excruciating pain. We tried comforting her as nurses rolled her over multiple times a day to clean her and change her bandages. It was hard for me to leave her at all during this time. I could tell she was scared of being alone. And of course, the rest of my family were all beside themselves with worry and heightened emotions. But the things that would normally stress me out, make me angry, or get me upset seemed another world away, because in that moment, being there for her was just all that mattered. The hospital eventually wanted to give her a blood transfusion, which for most patients wouldn't pose that much difficulty. But Nana's skin was like tissue paper and riddled with bruises from her diabetes. We used to joke that her skin could bruise just from you looking at it funny. I lost track of how many nurses came in trying to successfully start that transfusion. Her veins were literally bursting each time they started to get a line in. I could tell they were getting very worried at that point. Little by little, the rest of my family started to drift out of the room. I mean, it was becoming a lot to deal with. After almost 2 hours of trying, it was just me, my Nana, and a couple of nurses left in the room. That's when she looked at me with tears in her eyes, and she told me she didn't think she could do this. She didn't think she was gonna make it. I put my head in her hands and started tearing up too. "You're gonna make it," I said. "It isn't your time yet." And I meant it so sincerely. I couldn't tell how I knew and what made me so sure, but it wasn't her time to go, and I was there to reassure her of that. She clutched my hands tight, saying, "Okay, I can do it. I'll hold on for you." And not too long after that, they got the transfusion to flow through the last possible vein they could try. I slept by her side that night, and for the next few weeks I spent almost all of my time going between my job and the hospital, but I didn't mind. All of a sudden, the tables had completely turned from me being consumed by my own emotional and psychological turmoil to holding up those I loved most in so many ways. The surgery to fix her leg was a success, and she was eventually moved from the hospital to a rehab facility, and eventually from there back to her home. But she still needed so much help. Between my mom, my granddad, my husband, and I, we all reworked our lives to revolve around caring for Nana and nursing her back to health. She never gave up on trying to stand by herself again, to get back to riding around on her scooter and feeding the birds and squirrels around in her garden. And although life as we'd known it seemed to be placed on hold for a while, I didn't need to think twice about it. And looking back, I'm incredibly grateful for being around her all the time during her final months. I feel it's what ultimately brought me closure and a sense of peace after she left. Although Nana and I were extremely close throughout my childhood, we certainly had many ups and downs with each other while I was a teenager. I clashed with her constantly as I grew into myself, struggling to come to terms with my own teenage angst, and I'm definitely not proud of it. But she always loved me, no matter how miserable I could get. She was incredibly proud of me. She believed in me, in my art, and in everything I took to pursuing. She supported me relentlessly and defended my ability to make decisions for myself. When I started dating my now husband, she was over the moon with joy. She knew from the beginning that we were meant to be together, and she loved him like her own grandchild. She had far more faith in me than I ever had in myself. And when I told her that I planned on majoring in art when I went to college, she was so excited and proud of me. Whenever I visited her in the hospital or in rehab, she'd want to see what I was working on. So even though I'd allowed my creativity to dry up over the years, I started making art again while I sat at her bedside. First because it made her smile, but then also because it brought me renewed focus and a new kind of clarity. And unbeknownst to her, or anyone else at the time, I was beginning to write music again, an entirely new vein of expression for the incredible ways my life had been changing from the inside. The seeds for this new transformative work were being planted as I kept creating art to bring a smile to her face. My Nana declined quickly during the last 2 weeks of her life. Her entire body became so weak that she was having difficulty even swallowing. She was admitted to the hospital again the day before Thanksgiving, and just a few days later, we were told her organs were starting to fail. She couldn't speak to us or hold a conversation anymore. Soon hospice was called in, and we started the process of taking her home. I can't explain how, but from the day she held on for me, when it wasn't her time to go, I knew from that point that I would be with her when she passed on, almost as if I needed to be. No one thought it would happen as soon as it did, but deep down, I knew that I needed to check on her, to sit by her side that night. I needed to hold her hand and to let her know that it was okay, that we were going to be okay. And I told her about my dreams for the future, about how I was going to dedicate the rest of my life to my art, to my music, and to using my creativity to help other people, all because of her. I told her how much I loved her and how I knew she'd always be with me. And at this point, I felt an incredible serenity come over me. I could feel the presence of her father in the room, incredibly close to me, as if his hand was pressed to my shoulder. That's when I told her that I could sense him too, that it's okay to go with him. And she did. Wow. It's hard to describe how much I love this place. I have a lot of really mixed emotions right now because my happiest memories are here, but also the memory of people that are gone, that's coming up too. But I have to be honest, it's really surreal to be in this kind of place. I've really been closing myself off lately from people, so much so that I think I've lost a little bit of myself along the way. God, and just being here again brings up so much stuff. I mean, this place is gorgeous. I want to just sit in pain all day, but I also just kind of want to walk around and talk to you guys all day too. But the really hard part about this right now, I don't even have the words to really say what I'm feeling. I guess it's why I paint. I guess that's why I create physical things, because sometimes I just can't find the words. And sometimes music isn't enough to convey it. Sometimes a picture can be worth so much more than 1,000 words. And I've been getting a lot of those today. God, this place is so pretty. Oh man, check this out over here. Look at those flowers. Oh, and Bok Tower in the background. I'm gonna be okay. I am. I'm gonna be okay. It is abundantly clear to me now that everything holds energy, and a place can hold on to memories, imprinted within landscapes and written on walls. And as souls passing through these places on this ride we call life, is it not our job to fill the earth with goodness, with light, to fill the world with happiness rather than shrouding it with darkness? Revisiting this place is like coming full circle for me, closing one chapter to invite another in. Our world is changing before our eyes in such magnificent ways, and as I feel my own outlook expanding, my desires changing, I've accepted that life is too short to be anything other than authentic. So I just sat down for lunch and I have the most amazing looking vegan Cobb salad right here, complete with vegan bacon. What? That's amazing. When you've opened up your eyes, inspiration can flood in from anywhere, and for this I am so grateful. I'm trying so hard now not to take anything for granted, to take care of myself, both in body, mind, and spirit. I'm taking the time to slow down when I need to listen and engage with my thoughts, to respect them, and to lovingly free them once I realize they no longer serve me. I am not going to hold back anything on this channel. You're going to see me, all of me, in my truest expression. So I want to invite you to join me on a journey of self-discovery. All of my art and the music I'll share with you soon enough are all woven together from a very personal yet in many ways familiar story, one I think that many of us can identify with on a soul level. I hope that by sharing my story, by being brave enough to bare my heart and my soul, others may find the courage to do the same, to share their stories, and to express their own authenticity. Alright guys, well, it has been a beautiful, crazy day out here. I am exhausted and I'm about ready to start heading home. I'm gonna be okay. I'm really excited about the future and all the projects that I've been working on, and I can't wait to share even more with you guys. So with that guys, I hope you liked this video. Please give it a thumbs up, like it if you want to see more stuff like this. Hit that subscribe button, and until next time, I'll see you later.